Hello, everybody. Come on in. What time is it? It's lunch and learn. And I'm excited today because the Greeks are going to speak. Now, where are you? I see you coming in. Talk to me. Tell me where you are from. Tell me who you are. Talk to me, and I'm going to talk back to you. Come on, talk to me. Y'all not talking. I'm trying to hear from you. Talk to me. I know you're there. I've got my guests who are here, and we are excited about today. Today is going to be an awesome time in which we are going to be talking and sharing. Where are you from? I'm trying to find out why I don't see nobody. I see you in, I don't see you talking to me. Y'all talk to me. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Talk to me. Say hello, say goodbye, say Texas, say Atlanta, say something. I need to see where you are. Where are you from? Tell me who you are and where you from. Come on, say some destination. I want y'all to talk. Have they blocked you out? Are they not allowing you to talk to me? There you go. Come on, I see you. All right, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. Good afternoon, Sister Janice. Good afternoon. Hello there, Pastor Thompson. God bless you. All right. Los Angeles is here. Okay. All right. We've got New Jersey. New Jersey. Okay. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hello there, Sister Nicole. Good afternoon. I see South Florida. Yes, yes, yes. Come on in. Florida is here. Yes, we got them in here now. That's what I'm talking about. Let's talk. Listen, I'm asking everybody, share, 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 because this is going to be a great time, a great conversation. And I want you all to share. We want Greater Allen. I see you. I see you. We want, yes, yes, African Bishop Parshay. God bless you. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yes. We want you to share and let people know that we're on. This is going to be good conversation. And I want you all to interact with us. I'm not going to hesitate as you are coming in, share us. I want you to hear from my guests. I got some guests up in here today. Let's start up here. Brittany, I see that your mic is muted. Unmute your mic and come on and introduce yourself, Miss Brittany.
Well, thank you so much for having me. My name is Brittany Littles. I am originally from Michigan. I'm living out here in the DMV, Baltimore to be specific. I am an attorney. I practice corporate litigation. I also do some criminal defense as well. And obviously a wonderful member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Ski-Wee. And I'm just so pleased to be here and be a part of this conversation today. I think it's one that we need to absolutely have. And I am just excited for today's discussion.
Awesome, awesome. She's a homegirl, originally from Grand Rapids, like myself. And Dr. Tony Antoinette Alvarado, who is affectionately known as Dr. Tony. Introduce yourself.
Hey, Sandra, I'm glad to be here with you on this afternoon. I am Dr. Tony Alvarado. I am originally from Chicago, the Windy City. Yes, but I reside in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a co-pastor of Grace Church International, pastoring with my husband here, Bishop Jonathan Alvarado. I am the founder and executive director of My Sister's Keeper Foundation for Women. I am the host of the Harmonize Your Life Conversations on Self-Care for Women of Color podcast and a retreat leader for the Harmonize Your Life Women's Self-Care Retreat. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Hello. The Greeks are here, y'all. The Greeks are going to speak. Now, you are actually even at a conference right now. Am I correct?
Yes, I am. I'm at a retreat by My Sister's Keeper Foundation. We're doing our leadership retreat for the women who are matriculating through our leadership program. Sandra, you've been to our graduation before of the women, and this is our 15th group of women we've taken through our leadership and life coaching program. And
Wow.
normally we would have done this retreat earlier in the year, but because of COVID, we had to change some things. And so we're a little later in the year getting it done, but we're getting it done.
Great, great. Small group of you because of everything that's going on, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
There's 6 women in the group and 6 coaches, so it's 12 of us all together here on the premises, and we're being very safe. We're using CDC guidelines in the way we are facilitating our retreat this weekend. We're wearing our mask and social distancing. They have us in like 3 different conference rooms so we can spread out and be
great
distance from each other. We're in a very secluded part of the conference center, just us and our group. And they are serving us really well. They're serving us our meals in this space, so we're not interacting with anybody else that's on the property. We're here with just our group.
That's great. And basically it's a good example of how we can make things happen in a very safe way.
Exactly.
I want to just bring out, we know that both of you both have already stated that you are proud members of Alpha Kappa Alpha. One of the things that I made sure is that I got 2 different generations of AKAs at this particular time. And I want to start with Brittany. Brittany, would you tell us, what does Kamala Harris's candidacy as the Democratic VP candidate, what does that mean to you and other women of color in your generation?
Well, I think it goes without saying that Kamala's pick as VP for the Democratic the Democratic nominee is something that we can all be extremely proud of, no matter who you are in America. I think women of color, and especially women of Alpha Kappa Alpha, are extremely proud to see someone who cares about our community, who cares about what's happening in America and want to make positive changes. And I think it really symbolizes to women, young and old, that you can really do whatever it is that you want to. She is the daughter of immigrants. She was raised in California, decided to go and to an HBCU, which really shows the importance of HBCUs to our community and to our culture, to the United States, and that they really put and give to the community successful Black people, Black Americans who invest in our community, invest in America. And it makes me even happier that she saw the importance of historically Black sororities and fraternities and decided to pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. And I think it also goes to show the importance of these organizations in our community, right? Because we are creating leaders that are impacting our communities. They are going on and making huge changes in our country. And I want to see more of that. And I think this is an opportunity to say for these young women that you can really do whatever you want to do. She's a real down-to-earth person. I don't know her, but I can tell by the way she talks. And I see her sorority sisters on CNN talking about her, and she really cares, and she really has a community of people who back her. And so to me, it makes me feel like I can do anything, and it's really inspiring to, I'm sure, not just women and women of color, but everybody in this United States, because she does symbolize the essence really of America and of the Black community. So I love to see this, and it's really inspiring to me.
That's awesome. Dr. Tony, now from a different generational perspective, and you and I, same generation, we're baby boomers. What would you say this means to our generation? You know, and you have a daughter who is actually your daughter. Is she a senior now?
Yes, she's a senior at Spelman.
You have a daughter who's a senior at Spelman.
Yes.
What does that mean to you as a mother and an AKA and someone who's seen a lot go on throughout your lives?
Yeah, well, Sandra, you know, this week is the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, right? But while we celebrate the women who made this possible for women to vote in America, we know that African American women who were a part of the suffrage movement, many of them were still unable to vote long after the amendment was ratified, right? And so for me, Senator Kamala Harris's nomination to VP symbolizes hope. First of all, I'm just glad to be alive to see it. You know, for us to be able to witness the first African American president in our generation, and now to see an African American woman rise to such a seat of prominence in our country, it symbolizes hope. I remember the next morning after we found out that she was the VP pick, I posted on Facebook how exciting it was for me, and the idea that my daughter will be able to grow up seeing women of color, women that look like her, ascend to such seats of in power in our nation. You and I we didn't have that when we were growing up.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
not.
I mean, you know, we had women, of course, that we could look to. We had, you know, there were women in our community that were championing causes, yes, but we didn't think we would see a woman of color ascend to become a nominee of a major party in our country. That was unthinkable when I was Ariel's age. And so for my daughter to be able to, that to be her reality, it is, as a mother, I love it. I mean, it gives me so much hope for the future.
One of my dear brother out of St. Louis, Pastor Marlon Baylor, he sends us, let me put this back up here. He sends us Omega Love, Omega Love. And would you say that, and you all are AKAs, but would you say that this is having a major effect on what do y'all call it? The nine? What is it called? The
Divine Nine.
The Divine Nine. What do you think? How do you think the whole Divine Nine is feeling about this?
Excited. You know, I'm sure that we may have some in the Divine Nine that may not be excited. You know, we don't want to just assume just because we're AKAs or we're in the Divine Nine that everyone is excited. So I know that, you know, her nomination is still very much controversial. Even in our community, there are still a lot of men who are not, who are saying they can't vote for a woman, and you know, or there are people who prefer not to vote for a Democrat, or some people are saying they're going to sit out altogether. That saddens me as a woman of color and as a woman in leadership. That saddens me. So we don't want to just assume that because someone is in the Divine Nine or that there are people of color that they are excited. But the excitement is there, and what I'm hearing from a lot of sorors and a lot of people in the Divine Nine, we're excited and we are mobilizing and we are ready to go. I wish I could vote today.
Request your ballot today. Go ahead.
Come on now, let's get that ballot today. Brittany, do you feel that Kamala Harris will draw more progressives and women of color to the poll, especially of your generation, because that's a concern that many of your generation don't vote?
Yeah, you know, I would say that, to Dr. Tony's point, that to some, Kamala is controversial, especially considering her time as a prosecutor. I'm a former public defender, so originally when I heard, I'm like, she's a prosecutor. I don't really like prosecutors, but I think that, my hope is that as a Black woman who actually cares about our community, and not just the Black community, honestly, about America, and has, when she was running as the presidential nominee, she had some really good ideas for this country. And I'm hoping that individuals of my generation, the millennials, will see that she does care. And although she might not be as progressive as a lot of us would like, I do think that Joe Biden and a ticket with Kamala Harris will put forth a lot of things that will impact our community, and make our country, will really make our country great. Not again, but great in the future, because I don't necessarily think we've ever been great. But I do think that she will inspire a lot of African Americans to get out and vote. And I think that's what Joe Biden really needed. He needed someone who could make people excited. And I think she brings that to the table.
Yeah,
she's someone who's a little bit newer. She's not this old, someone who's been running for the presidency for years and years and years. She's someone fresh to the table. And I hope people give her an opportunity to talk a little bit more, hear where she's coming from, and we'll get out and vote. And I hope that's what we can inspire today, is to get people out and vote.
I know that Dr. Tony, you are quite an activist. I've been watching you, what you're doing there in Atlanta. You just participated in the primaries. You worked at one of the polls. Am I correct?
Yes, I am a poll worker in my county, in Rockdale County, Georgia. I started serving as a poll worker in our primary elections in June, and I also just served in our runoff elections just a couple of weeks ago on August 11th, and I will be working the polls again on November 3rd. Yes, I am a poll worker, and I am excited to be able to serve in my county, in my community, in that way. I didn't plan to start serving as a poll worker. Honestly, what pushed me to do it was the pandemic. I went to vote. I'm an early voter. I always vote early. Georgia has early voting, and I love that. So I'm usually there within the first week of voting when our voting opens. I'm sometime between the day one and the 7th day. I am there voting early. Me, Bishop Alvarado, and my children, we all go. We tend to go as a family to the poll, and so when I went in May, I think it was, no, in April, when we had our elections, when we were doing our presidential pick, I went, and one of our sorors was serving at the precinct, and she was like, "Soror, we really need more help because our seniors, because of the pandemic, can't, she said, we're short workers because of our seniors and the pandemic," which was just really at the height of the pandemic. And so I said, sure, I'd be happy to serve. And so she sent me the information. I signed up. It was very simple. I signed up, and I really I'm enjoying learning the process more from that side of the table. And I'm enjoying serving in my community and actually getting to know people in my community by serving at the polls. So yes, it's a wonderful way to get involved. Become a poll worker, or you can volunteer. You can become a poll watcher, or you can set up voter registrations in your church, in your community. A lot of our sororities and fraternities are very much involved. That's what I love about being a part of the Divine Nine. We are service organizations. And I know Brittany will attest to that. We are service organizations. And what's different about us, the African American, our Black fraternities and sororities, generally is that, for us, many of us stay involved. I'm a part, we're encouraged to stay involved at the graduate level. And so I came in through Alpha Kappa Alpha in a graduate chapter, Chi Tau Omega chapter in Covington, Georgia. And so, but many of them, even when we pledge undergrad, we stay active through graduate chapters. We're encouraged to stay active through graduate chapters. And because we are a service organizations to our community, not just the Black community, but to all humanity.
That is really good. To all humanity.
All humanity.
All humanity. I want to ask Brittany. Brittany, any political aspirations? Come on here. Tell us. We want to be the first to know here. Come on. Tell us.
As I mentioned before, Kamala has really inspired me. And I think it's something that I have always considered doing. So perhaps in the future, you will see me running for something locally, because I really do value the importance and understand the importance of local politics and how they impact our community. So watch for me in the next, 5 years or so. You may see me running for something locally.
This is awesome. Dr. Alvarado, as a woman of, not only a woman of color, AKA, but as a clergy woman, give us some perspective about it from that standpoint. In our generation, when we grew up, and even though you're in the South, and I know the South is even stronger with it, you grew up in the Midwest. Like grew up in Michigan, you grew up in Chicago, and there was strong thoughts about our responsibility to vote, because we had parents who
Yes.
didn't have if you think about it, our parents
Yes.
couldn't vote.
Yes. Yes.
As long as I've been voting age, I've been able to vote.
Right.
But not my mother, and
Right.
not my grandmother.
Exactly.
And so where do you stand with that as a clergy woman? Because there was a time where all of this came through the church.
Yes. And
the black church in particular.
The Black church in particular. I grew up in the Black church. I grew up on the south side of Chicago in a Baptist church. And I grew up down the street from Operation Push with Reverend Jesse Jackson and Reverend Willie Barrows. And so, yes, activism was very much a part of what we did in our church. We heard about voting and and marching, and all of those pastors and leaders that I grew up under. It was nothing for us to hear messages on Sunday morning about activation and getting involved in the community. And so and as a woman in ministry, even though, growing up in the church that I grew up in, women were not, it wasn't our tradition for women to be considered preachers and pastors, but yet we did see women like Reverend Willie Barrows in Chicago. We were able to follow women who were strong activists in our community. And so as a clergy woman, I feel like it's our responsibility to be involved. The Bible teaches us in Micah 6:8 that our responsibility, what does the Lord require? And the answer comes back: to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly before our God. And I believe that's our responsibility. And then when I look throughout the Bible, and when I see what God has done with women, come on, Sandra, you know this from being a preacher woman. I mean, to be able to lift the stories of women out of the sacred text and see how God has always divinely positioned women to bring about God's purpose in the earth. So I'm so excited. I see even this nomination as a work of God. I see God bringing something from the underside,
And I agree, because I think as it opens up on this level, it begins to open up on every level. Yeah. Even though this is so exciting, I did a little research and I found out where there are 33 females who are leading Fortune 500 companies. This is the largest amount of women ever leading Fortune 500 companies at one time, the 33. But it's only 33, and Fortune 500 is not a made up number.
No.
It's a 500. So,
right.
I mean, we're not even, we still have a long ways to go. And I even see that even within the clergy.
Yes.
Major advancements.
Oh, come on.
We still have a long way to go.
Long way to go. We still do.
Brittany, do you see that even within the legal, within the law,
I definitely think that is a concern that we have in leadership positions. When you're at these firms, you hardly ever see Black women in particular in leadership positions as partners in firms. So that is definitely a concern that I have. And I even want to point out to you that even if you look at the people who have served as senators, there have been very, very few African Americans who serve as senators. So Kamala Harris is already setting the stage as someone who is doing milestones, because there's been very few African Americans that have had that position, let alone Black females. So she is definitely setting the stage for women to take charge, become leaders in our community in every field. and know that they can do that because she's serving as that role model. And again, she's inspiring to me. I'm trying to set the stage so that I can become a partner at my law firm. So,
And Sandra, I think that is so critical. I mean, from being in the church, we, the women, make up the church. We are the workforce of the church. There is no church that exists today without women. We are the majority. We make up most congregations, but yet the leadership of the church does not reflect that. And that's across denominations. That's across ethnic background. It's an issue. But what I'm so excited about is the opportunities that we have in front of us. One of the things that I appreciated about what Senator, our now Vice President nominee, Kamala Harris, Soror, one of the things she says that she quoted her mother, and her mother said to her, "You might be the first to do many things, but make sure you're not the last." And that's what I love about this opportunity, that there may be a lot of first. She may be breaking some seal, breaking through some ceilings, and she might be the first to do this. But what I appreciate is that she has a mindset to not be the last. And that's what we all have to do. We can be the first to do a whole lot of things, but let's not be the last.
That's great. Now I'm gonna tell you something, because before we conclude, I have to do this. And I spoke to Brittany about it, and Dr. Alvarado, I want you to get prepared. I want you all to address, and we'll start with Brittany. What do you say to those who are watching, who have concerns about voting for the November 3rd election, be it mail-in, be it early voting, be it in-person voting? What, even from a legal standpoint for you, Brittany, what do you have to say to them? What should they be? What should they know? Because everybody's got to get out and vote. This election is so important. You've got to vote. And so give us some information about that, and any fears or hesitations, let's cause them to dissipate now.
Absolutely. You bring up a great point, and that's the thing I'm most excited about this conversation, is that Donald Trump is doing everything he can do to undermine this election. He's already setting the stage for folks to question the veracity of the results of the election. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, just like Michelle Obama said, you have to get out and vote. You have to do it now. You have to request your ballots right now. We don't have to worry about whether or not that you can actually vote by mail, because many of the states, all of our states, have absentee ballot provisions, and many of the states are allowing everyone to request it without any underlying issues. You can check your state's own website where they were voting to see what your rules are in your state as far as voting by mail and absentee voting. And let me make it clear to everyone, voting by mail and absentee ballots are essentially the same thing, okay? In some states, they are sending out ballots to everyone. Whether or not you requested an absentee ballot, you have the option to just send it in the mail. You need to request it. If you have to request it right now, because we don't want to get in a situation where, as Trump is doing right now, denying money to the USPS that has been an agency in our country forever. Yes. And there's not any questions about whether or not they can deliver the ballots. They can, but they're doing things specifically to make sure they can't deliver our ballots on time. So if you send it early, you don't have to worry about that. But I do want to just point out that the Trump is trying to do lots of things that are illegal, including voter intimidation. I was just watching the news this morning where he's talking about having sheriffs and law enforcement at ballot places to intimidate voters. And so I think that the way that we can avoid all of this is just get involved and make yourself, don't wait to the last minute. Don't wait to the day of. And if you want to vote in person, then absolutely put your mask on, be safe, go early so you don't have to stand. Hopefully you won't have to stand in the line with a lot of people. A lot of states are offering early voting. As Dr. Tony said, that she votes early every year, for every election. You can do that too, but you have to empower yourself with the knowledge and education of your state's rules. And I would encourage you, as Michelle Obama said, you have to do it now and do it early so that we don't have to worry about the tactics and tricks that Trump is trying to pull. We can make sure that we're there and our vote is counted. And it's important that everyone does make sure to have that vote put in.
And,
Wow.
and you know what? And I want to piggyback on one thing and just say, make a plan for voting. And you heard that last night, and many of our convention speakers said that. Make a plan for voting. And as a poll worker, I can tell you, if you can do it, and it is safe. If you have an underlying and you can't and you cannot come in person, get your absentee ballot, do your mail-in voting, do it early so that it cannot be undermined. But if you want to come in person, mask up. We go to the grocery store, put on your mask, put on your gloves, do what you need to do and come. And we are there to serve you. We are in our protective gear so that we're not infecting anyone or being infected by anyone. So yes, come and be a part of the process. Don't stay home. You and I cannot afford to of this election. Go early, and take at least 12 people with you. Don't go by yourself. Take at least 12 people with you. Make sure that everybody in your circle is voting. Text people, remind people. We're doing some things at our church and encouraging. We're going to be doing our Souls to the Poll campaign and encouraging our members to be involved and to serve and encourage people while they're even there standing in line. And we can do this. We can do this, America.
And if I may, really quickly, I think that for those of you who are watching today, who are in our Greek organization or just any organization, you need to also, and it's a call to action, just to encourage people in your community to vote, encourage your family members and friends, whether they're Republican or Democrat, or whoever they're going to vote for. It's important that we exercise our right to vote, especially as African Americans, considering all the people who lost their lives for our right to vote. So it's a call to action to all of my Divine Nine sisters and brothers to step up and to help people and encourage people to get to the polls.
I agree totally. I saw something today as we conclude that I was so encouraged about, and I'm gonna do more research on it, but there was a big announcement via special news that Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook, they have put together a committee. They're already working on counteracting any announcement that 45th tries to make on the 4th to discredit the election of November the 3rd. They're already setting things in motion so that if they try to slip it on Facebook that it was that the vote came out one way, but they want to tell people on social media it came out another way. They're already putting things in action to make sure that doesn't happen. Can you imagine? This is America, and we've got to do something like that now. But I read it.
2020, anything can happen, okay?
and as First Lady Michelle Obama, our forever First Lady, said the other night, don't think that it can't get worse.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
It cannot get worse. And so you and I'm going to say, I'm going to pose the question that Mordecai posed to Esther. Who knows whether we have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Don't think that you're going to escape by just sitting out, not voting, not doing your part. Don't think you're going to escape what's going to happen. Because if we don't get involved, whatever happens is going to happen to all of us.
It's going to happen to all of us. Hey, guys. Did y'all love my guest today? Yes, kudos. Yes, I agree, Sister Melody. Kudos to Zuckerberg. I was very surprised, but I saw it, I read it. I said, all right, come on up here, Mark. We hear you. And hopefully some of the other social media platforms will follow suit. But I want to say thank you to my guests. Thank you to Brittany. Thank you to Dr. Tony. And I just want each and every one of you to know that we want to start preparing now. I wanted to bring them on now at a great time, relevant time. This is a time in which we want to get your mindset ready to vote now. Do your part now. All right. Well, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Thank you, ladies. And I will see y'all next week at the same place, at the same time. Remember to meet us here for Lunch and Learn. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.